this could be really scary. Hello, I am the Irish guy, and lads, back in February, before any last 16 match had been played, I predicted the rest of the Champions League and the Europa League seasons. So let's just see. Now we're pretty much at the final of both competitions. Let's just see, okay? Let's see how well I actually did in first the Champions League and then the Europa League. Oh, I'm scared. Right, let's go.
Last 16, Club Brugge versus Aston Villa. I think Emery scrapes a vital 1-0 win in Belgium. A late Ollie Watkins goal before, a nervy 2-1 home win. 3-1 in aggregate. Villa are through. And if they don't go through against a team who recently gets Scott Parker at the wheel, then I will paint myself yellow.
Phew! Oh, I am thankful that Aston Villa saved my bacon, because I would imagine that if I painted myself yellow, I would fully look like Mo Sislak. Look, I know Club Brugge should put up a fight in Europe this year, but no, absolutely no way was Unai Emery exiting a European competition to a team who recently had Scott Parker at the wheel. And so pretty simple, 5-1 Villa win in aggregate. So far, I'm 1-0 up.
Borussia Dortmund versus Lille. Look, I reckon both clubs win 2-1 at home. It goes to penalties in France, and Lille just squeaked through 4-3 on pens.
Nope. Oh, this is mightily annoying. It was a toss of a coin. Both Borussia Dortmund and Lille were just here to make up the numbers. There wasn't a chance either team were gonna reach the final. There's probably more chance of me getting beaten to death by an insane lollipop lady. There's probably more chance of me chewing one of Captain Underpants' fingers for breakfast. I said it'd be a 2-1 win for both and that Lille would squeak through on pens. Nah, really annoyingly, it was a 1-1 draw in Germany and then a 2-1 Dortmund win in France. But no, I'm wrong. 1-1.
PSV versus Arsenal. 2-0 Gunners win in Holland before a 3-0 win at home. 5-0 on aggregate, easy.
Look at this comment.
Don't sleep on PSV, they dominated Juventus.
No. Arsenal traveled to Holland and won 7-1. Yes, 7-1 away from home. So that 2-2 draw at the Emirates was then the most pointless match known to man. It mattered about as much as Katy Perry's trip to space. Arsenal went through 9-3 on aggregate, completely demolishing spoonfuls of Peter Bosch's dignity. But I'm 2-1 up, obviously.
Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid. Penalties. I'm sorry, but penalties will separate this tie. I reckon Atletico snatch a 1-0 win at the Bernabeu before Real then win 1-0 at Atletico. It will eventually force penalties and 5-4 Real win after Alexander Sorloth misses one. Just you watch. This will be so close.
Woof! 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 I don't know what I'm doing, okay? I don't know how to celebrate. This prediction was so devilishly sweet that I guess I've chosen to bark like a dog. I don't know, okay? I don't know what to do because this prediction, it tastes like a tube of Smarties. It's delicious because this tie did go all the way to penalties. I said this would be close, so insanely close. I thought the margin of victory would be tighter than KSI's bandana. I knew it, and yes, it went to penalties. My apologies to Sorloth though. I said he'd be the mug, spooning his lazy penalty over the bar, crumbling under pressure, just like he did when he was that pointless blonde meat sandwich on the Crystal Palace bench. But no, he scored his pressure pen, so sorry Sorloth. But lads, I'm 3-1 up.
Feyenoord versus Inter Milan. How is Robin van Persie managing in a Champions League knockout tie? 4-0 Inter Milan win in Holland before a 6-0 win back in Italy. 10-0 on aggregate. I'm telling you, this is going to be embarrassing. This is like when Gary Neville was totally out of his depth at Valencia. Honestly, lads, if Feyenoord go through, then I will walk to China.
Oh, wow. I really went in on Robin van Persie. I was talking about him as if he was some brain-dead beaver with the tactics of a chicken burger. Look, maybe I was a little harsh, but come on. You're essentially going from Arnie Slot, an actual elite manager, to that. Some cute former pro for nostalgia vibes. To me, this is a bit like breaking up with your actual wife just so you can then go out with a cardboard cutout of Lizzie McGuire. It would be beyond creepy. Yeah, I know. RVP has actually won his last 7 Eredivisie matches to take them back into the Champions League spots. But did he lose 10-0 on aggregate? No. Instead, it was respectable 4-1. 4-1, 4-1. But you know what that means? I'm also winning 4-1. This is easy.
Irish guy hates Van Persie as much as he irrationally hates Forest.
Oh yeah, this is back in an era where it wasn't yet cool to think that Nottingham Forest were not going to qualify for the Champions League. Oh boy.
Bayern Munich versus Bayern Leverkusen. I'm sniffing out a 1-0 Bayern win at home. Harry Kane goal before grinding out a 0-0 draw at Leverkusen.
Yep, loads of people thought that Bayer Leverkusen will go through here. Come on, don't reverse history. Come on, it's a team who were last season's Bundesliga's invincibles. It's a managerial duel between Xabi Alonso, somebody about to seize Ancelotti's job at Real Madrid, and a failed Burnley boss who is, well, Bayern Munich's 9th choice manager. So I was a little scared and a bit embarrassed to even give Bayern a 1-0 win here. I felt a bit nervous to say it. A bit like when you're at school and you're a little scared to confide in your mate that you have dodgy dreams about that evil cat of Pokemon. Well, company's Bayern smashed Leverkusen 5-0 in aggregate and have since won the Bundesliga title early. This relegated Burnley boss has outperformed Football Management's golden boy. Put some respect on Vinny's name. And yes, I'm 5-1 up. What?
Benfica versus Barcelona. So let's say a 2-1 Barcelona win in the first leg before a 3-0 Barcelona win at home. 5-1, pretty comfortable. And lads, if Barca do get dumped up at Benfica, then I will drink a mud puddle through a straw.
Thank you, Barcelona. After the manic chaos in their group stage meeting, this was a lot more sane. 10-man Barca ground out a 1-0 win in Portugal before then winning 3-1 at the new camp. I said 5-1 on aggregate. No, it was 4-1 on aggregate. But lads, are you seeing this? These are going so well. What is going on? I'm 6-1 up? What?
PSG versus Liverpool. Whisper it quietly. But PSG are class again. Luis Enrique has actually carved out a proper team. I think Liverpool should be scared. I think Barcola absolutely destroys Alexander-Arnold, whilst Kvaratskhelia will do the exact same to that aging former Hull City left back. Liverpool fans don't seem like they're scared of PSG, but lads, they should be. 4-3 PSG aggregate win. Just you watch.
Oh, this is a good one. The comments were not kind to me.
PSG was against Brest. Liverpool's not losing to PSG. This man hates Liverpool. Liverpool losing to PSG? Come on, man. We're more likely to lose to Ipswich. We've lost one game in the league all season in the hardest league in the world. I don't know what Liverpool did to you as a child, but just keep backing against us because you've been wrong at every turn this season. Keep it up, bud. He talks like PSG is a superpower team, but talks about Liverpool who play in a harder league. By the way, they are struggling right now. Michael just wants Liverpool to lose the Champions League round of 16 because he knows we're likely going to beat Newcastle for the League Cup.
Oh, no. Stop talking, man. Stop talking!
PSG is good, don't get me wrong, but how on earth are you going to pick the team that has been good for 2 months over the team that has been the best for the entire season? Sometimes the correct answer is the most obvious and easy, and people, for some reason, just don't see it that way.
Most obvious and easy answer, is this? Oh, what would that be then?
You make it too easy for me to get cheap laughs on your behalf. PSG beat Liverpool.
Oh, this is kind of glorious to look back on. Everyone thought that Liverpool already had 1 foot in the final.
Liverpool will win the whole thing, trust me. Liverpool will beat PSG, pin it!
This was a brave prediction. 3 months ago, people looked at Liverpool as the best team in the world, the greatest side on planet Earth, and here was me saying that a club with 0 European history, who'd recently seen their 3 best ever players leave, would now knock out a 6-time European champion in the last 16. Yeah. People were fully laughing at me in the comments, as if I just confessed to weeing myself whilst watching Trek. Well, look at that. Nobody said PSG would win. Nobody. You were all talking about me as if I had a chocolate brain. I just knew that PSG were cooking. And are still cooking. It's a juicy, saucy team, and you know what's really weird? I said the Madrid derby would be settled by penalties after 1-0 wins for the away sides. That's exactly what happened here. I was reading off the exact same script. I just attributed it to the wrong last 16 tie. 2 away 1-0 wins and penalties. Wow, I'm right. Come on, give me my flowers. I'm 7-1 up. Superb. What is this? So now we are on to the quarterfinals. Let's take a look.
PSG versus Aston Villa. People are sleeping on Paris. I think PSG smacked Villa apart. A 4-0 win in France. Before then, maybe a 1-1 draw in the second leg. I mean, come on, if Crystal Palace can stick 4 past this Villa team, what do you think PSG are gonna do?
Lads, nobody thought that PSG versus Aston Villa was ever gonna happen. It was just some weird fantasy matchup that would never take place. I mean, sure, it was possible that these teams would meet in the quarterfinals, but in the same way that it's technically possible that Jackmate will be cast as the next James Bond. That bloke couldn't woo a granny. But yeah, this quarterfinal was actually breathed into existence by me. And yeah, pretty much, PSG did absolutely cook Villa in France 3-1 before a spirited Villa beat them 3-2 at home. Lads, it's now 8-1. 8-1. 8? What?
Real Madrid versus Arsenal. Sorry, Real eat Arsenal with a spoon. 2-0 win in Spain, and Mbappe with both before, a 0-0 draw at the Emirates. Sorry, lads. But no, if Arsenal reach a Champions League semi-final this season, then I will go into the city centre and lick every shop window in town.
5-1, Arsenal win on aggregate. 5-1. Oh, terrific. Just brilliant. Declan Rice is the reason I now have to do this. Of course he is. This is my city centre, okay? Yeah. I'm sure I've now got an infected tongue. Lads, my streak is over, okay? Because Arsenal have just made this 8-2, which makes sense. I mean, this club love that scoreline, right? They're the only team in Premier League history to ever lose 8-2. Ah, sorry, that was mean.
Inter Milan versus Bayern Munich. Don't you dare sleep on Inter Milan. Inzaghi has put together such a complete team. I can see a classic 1-0 Inter Milan win at home, before then soaking up pressure in Germany to sneak a 2-1 win at Bayern. 3-1 Inter Milan in aggregate.
Yeah. Inter Milan soaked up the pressure to win 2-1 in Germany, and then there was a 2-2 draw in Italy. But yeah, Inter went through 4-3. And lads, this is a painful one because I love company. Honestly, I haven't had a hug in years, but also, I love the Bayern Munich manager and I think he's doing great things, and I would have loved to have seen him win the Champions League. But I knew Inter would do it. And lads, I know that most people would have tipped this quarter-final to have been between Inter Milan and Bayer Leverkusen, with Xabi Alonso obviously cruising into the semi-finals with utter ease after delivering a tactical beatdown on the chubby Inzaghi bro. No! I'm 9-2 up. And yeah, this is also fitting because Bayern Munich love a 9-2 win. That's literally how they began this Champions League campaign on match day 1. Well, I mean, sorry, lads, just the very fact that these 3 Champions League quarterfinals actually took place, that is amazing work. No, these 3 games actually came to fruition, when most people would have had this being Liverpool versus Aston Villa, or Atletico versus Arsenal, or Leverkusen versus Inter. The fact I'm actually reacting to these games that actually happened, and we're not just fantasy fixtures, I'm really pleased with this.
Lille versus Barcelona. Oh, well, this is just a Barcelona win, of course. 3-0 win in France and a 3-0 win in Spain. 6-0 in aggregate.
Oh, here is the fantasy quarter-final which never take place. Dortmund just had to spoil a perfect quarter-final by weaseling their way in here at Lille's expense. But yeah, Barca still cooked them on a barbecue, so I guess Barcelona went through, so yeah. I guess it's now 10-2. And now on to the semi-finals.
PSG versus Real Madrid. This is a beautiful semi-final. Don't sleep on PSG. But yeah, I can see a 2-1 PSG win at home. But the second leg is the Mbappe revenge. 2-0 to Real. 3-2 Real Madrid win in aggregate. But lads, this one is going to be very, very close.
No, it wasn't Real Madrid. It was Arsenal. And PSG won. I'm wrong. It's now 10-3.
Inter Milan versus Barcelona. So this is the match which sets up the El Clasico Champions League final, right? No. I know there'll be so many people who have predicted the El Clasico to be the Champions League final yet again. But I've been around long enough to know this never happens. Ever. And lads, if it happens this season, then I will go swimming with sharks.
Yeah. Everyone was thinking this would be the dream El Clasico final. Everyone. But I knew it wouldn't be. I knew it. Which is why I was prepared to risk having a picnic with Jaws.
I think Inter do a number in Barcelona here. A defensive masterclass. A 0-0 draw at home before sneaking a 1-0 win in Spain. Honestly. 2 clean sheets and an aggregate 1-0 win for Inter Milan. Just you watch.
Defensive masterclass? Clean sheets? 1-0 in aggregate! Oh no, instead it just had to be the highest scoring Champions League semi-final of all time. I said Inter Milan would go through by 1 goal. Yes, they did. But there were 13 goals in the semi-final, not 1. So the manner of victory is completely wrong. But how many people would have said back in February that Inter Milan would be beating Barcelona in the Champions League semi-final? How many? Most people would have had them crashing out to Leverkusen in the previous round. So this is actually a beautiful prediction. Get in there. 11-3. And now we're on to the final.
Real Madrid versus Inter Milan. I think this is the year where Inter Milan win the Champions League. But yeah, this is a game which fully puts Inzaghi on the map. I think this game goes to penalties. I reckon Inter do a job on Real. It'll be 1-1 after 90 minutes and after 120 minutes, and then Inter win 5-3 on penalties. Just you watch. My tip to win the Champions League is Inter Milan. Every time I want to recommend this channel to friends, this man says something like Inter Milan are winning the Champions League.
Who's laughing now? Oh lads. No, the final is not Real Madrid versus Inter Milan. No. But still, I said that Inter would win the whole tournament back in February.
Inter fan here, thank you, but even somehow we get past Bayern and Barca, we ain't winning now, ain't we?
Yeah, it's terrible grammar, but even the Inter fans did not believe. Lads, this is not like the world-class Inter Milan side under Jose Mourinho when they won it in 2010. No, because that team won the treble that year. This team are on course to lose the Serie A title to a team with McTominay and Billy Gilmore in midfield. Inter winning in 2010 was a shock, but to do it again in 2025, winning just their 2nd European Cup since the mid-60s, it would be a ginormous achievement. And to think some sweaty, ugly goblin would have called this after Christmas? Well, lads, you all said that I was crazy to say Inter would win the Champions League, right? What are you saying now that they're one game from glory? Who's confident I'm a stupid brain-dead mouse now? Come on then. Are you still confident that Inter obviously won't win? Lads, if they do this, if Inter Milan actually win the final in Munich, then I'm going to say this. This video, recorded before the last 16 took place in February, is hands down the greatest set of Premier League predictions of all time. But yeah, let's briefly look at when I did this for the Europa League too.
AZ Alkmaar versus Tottenham. So I think Tottenham squeeze out a 1-1 draw in Holland before labouring to a really nervy, unconvincing 2-1 win at home.
Yep, Spurs cruise through fairly comfortably. I'm 1-0 up.
Ajax versus Eintracht Frankfurt. Sorry, but I actually think this is going to be a huge Ajax win. A 4-0 win at home before, yeah, maybe a 2-0 win for Frankfurt in Germany. But Ajax go through. 4-2 in aggregate.
Nope. Eintracht Frankfurt won 6-2 in aggregate. 1-1.
Bodo, Glimt versus Olympiacos. I'm going for an Olympiacos win. I'll go for a 1-0 win for them in Norway before a 2-0 win at home. 3-0 on aggregate, easy.
Oh, this is not going well. I think it already shows what a joke the Conference League is. That the reigning champions were embarrassed by a Norwegian village. So yes, I'm 2-1 down.
Viktoria Plzeň versus Lazio. Lazio will absolutely eat them for breakfast. A 3-0 win in Czech Republic before a 5-1 win at home. Yes, 8-1 in aggregate.
It wasn't easy. Lazio creeped through 3-2 in aggregate. This was close, but hey, it's now 2-2.
Fenerbahce versus Rangers. I'm sorry, but there's literally zero chance of Rangers progressing here. It just can't happen. It is actually impossible for Mourinho to be outwitted by a man who once lost the game 8-1. Sorry, but Fenerbahce are winning 6-0 in aggregate. Easy, easy. And lads, if Rangers go through instead, then I will take a bath in mud.
One of the most embarrassing defeats of Jose Mourinho's career. Of course it is. You somehow crashed out of that competition to Barry Ferguson. The bloke ain't a manager. He can barely scramble to win in the Scottish leagues. And he's in charge of a club who've won this league 55 times. He is a managerial donut, and yet he somehow scrambled a famous European win over Mourinho. Lads, I've already had my mud bath. It's 2 months later, and my bath is still blocked. Does anyone know a cheap plumber? Because this is how I live. Utterly pathetic. I'm 3-2 down. But how? How did Fenerbahce lose this one? Jose, explain yourself. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. No, I am angry. My bath is ruined.
Roma versus Atletico Bilbao. I'm going to go for 2 draws. 1-1 in both legs. I'll go for penalties and Roma will just edge it.
Mats Hummels spoiled this prediction. Blame him for Roma getting knocked out. Because Ranieri's boys picked up a big last-minute 2-1 win at home in Italy. And then they travelled to Spain for the second leg. And then experienced world champion centre-back Hummels gets himself sent off after 10 minutes. And Bilbao win 3-1. So now I'm 4-2 down.
FCSB versus Lyon. Paulo Fonseca's boys are going to so easily win this one. 5-0 in aggregate. Next.
Yep. Leon went through pretty easily. I'll go one back on the board, 4-3.
Real Sociedad versus Man United. I think Man United nicked the win. Alejandro Garnacho will score a late winner in Spain. 1-0 win before, yeah, a really ugly 0-0 draw at Old Trafford. 1-0 Man United win in aggregate.
But yeah, most people thought Man United would crash out of Sociedad. No, they went through, so it's now 4-4. All right, now on to the quarterfinals.
Tottenham versus Ajax. Look, I think Spurs turned it on in London to blow Ajax out of the water with a 3-0 win. They'll draw 2-2 in Holland, but yeah, a really good 5-2 aggregate win for Spurs.
Nope, this match never happened. But Spurs did just about squeak past Eintracht Frankfurt instead. So Tottenham went through, so I guess I'm 5-4 up.
Olympiacos versus Lazio. Olympiacos will squeak a 1-0 win in Greece, while Lazio will beat them 3-1 in Italy. Yeah, 4-2 aggregate win for Lazio.
No, this was Lazio versus Bodo Glimt, with Lazio being most people's favourites to reach the final. And they embarrassingly lost 3-2 on aggregate to a Norwegian password. So, great. It's now 5-5.
Fenerbahce versus Roma. I'll say Fenerbahce win 2-1 in Turkey and grind out a 1-1 draw in Rome. And yes, this will be the sweetest Mourinho revenge of his entire career.
So far, this is the first European tie I've picked where neither team got this far. So I honestly can't possibly give myself a score for this one. So next.
Lyon versus Man United. I think Amorim gets a 2-2 draw in France and beats them at home in a wacky 3-2 game. I think there'll be loads of goals in this tie. But yeah, Man United just about win 5-4 in aggregate. Just.
I'm sorry. Did I just say that Manchester United would beat Lyon 5-4? 5-4. Sorry. Hang on a second. I'm surely the only person in the entire universe who said that Man United would face Lyon and that there would be a 5-4. I also said it would be a 2-2 draw in France. Yeah, it was. And then it was a wacky game at Old Trafford. I actually said 5-4. I said 2-2 and 5-4. This is insane. This is a ridiculous prediction. What's going on? And now it's 6-5. I'm sorry, but how? This is a terrific prediction. Am I secretly psychic? Now on to the semi-finals.
Tottenham versus Lazio. It's going to be one of the greatest nights in Spurs history. I reckon they get back to another European final. A dramatic 2-1 win in both legs for Spurs, giving them a crazy 4-2 aggregate win. Tottenham to make a final. Ha 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 ha!
Still laughing? I said Spurs had a European final in them. The team literally rotting 16th in the league. Nobody would have said they'd get to the final. Literally zero. And look, they didn't play Lazio. No, it was Bodo Glimt, but they got through. Tottenham are actually in the European final. Tottenham. 7-5 to me?
Fenerbahce versus Man United. I think Man United win 1-0 in aggregate.
No, it wasn't Fenerbahce they beat, but it was Atletico Bilbao. But still, I said Man United would win their European semi-final, and they did. 8-5. Okay, let's take a look at the final then. Tottenham versus Manchester United.
Tottenham versus Manchester United. An all-English Europa League final again. Why not? Spurs and Manchester United will be the first clubs to reach a Europa League final the same season. They finished bottom half in their domestic league. I'm going to go for a Manchester United win. I'm going to say 2-1. Solanke will open the scoring for Spurs, but they'll get nervous, and then experienced European veteran Matthijs de Ligt will score an equaliser on the stroke of half-time. By the way, he'll get a man of the match award. He will come alive in this match before Mason Mount scores a late extra time winner off the bench. Absolute scene. So there you have it. As much as I would love Fenerbahce to win this whole thing, I just have a funny feeling about Manchester United. Mount is about to rescue his whole career. Sorry, Spurs.
Oh boy.
The Irish guy does a whole video just to predict Mason Mount to score the winning Europa League goal. If Mason Mount is actually fit and makes an appearance in the final, assuming Man United get there, I would write a love comment to the Irish guy. It's not going to happen. Tipping Mount to score, not to mention to even play, is like waiting for a postcard from your nan that died in 03. Ain't gonna happen.
Ain't it?
Mason Mount winner, never change, Irish guy. I was with you the whole way until you mentioned Mason Mount. Mason Mount winner in the final. The guy would be lucky to have hamstrings in May, let alone score in any finals.
He scored 4 days ago. On May the 4th. Not bad for a guy with dead hamstrings, right?
My man lost its brain somewhere. MU to win, that's the most insane prediction of his career. This is mental. He has so much faith in English clubs. Fenerbahce has a higher chance of getting to the final than those two combined. There is zero chance this ends as United versus Spurs final. Neither team makes it past the round of 32 for me.
Zero chance? Zero chance? Zero chance? So let me get this straight then. Out of both the Champions League and the Europa League finals, I have successfully predicted 3 of the 4 teams to make it all the way to the end. 75% of the makeup for the 2 biggest European finals I call in February. Both Europa League finalists are about to finish in the bottom 5 of the Premier League. They are both having their worst ever seasons, and still, I actually predicted them to both reach a European final. Put some respect on these predictions. Surely, and now, Mason Mount, over to you. If you can do this and score the winner past Spurs, I think I might actually go viral on the internet. I think I might have my brains tested for genius. That would be incredible. Anyway, that's the video. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Let me know. What did you think of these predictions? I'm kind of in shock, to be honest. But let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while. Wow. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. Excuse me a minute. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. Oh! This is what gorillas eat. Oh! Just 47 more to go.